This board has been the most satisfying board to work with I've ever experienced or witnessed, period.
In 4 years, not one conversation have I ever been aware of or participated in about anybody, trading, do you vote for this and I'll vote for that, none of that. People came to each issue freshly, and that is refreshing. I think if you look back at the fact that these are televised meetings, we're putting the video online, the ethics and lobbying legislation, this is probably, with the commission form of government in this particular case, this is probably about as open and transparent as local government or county government can be. A couple of highlights are, the work we've done with land use and the comprehensive plan. There's a lot more under that you could list. For the environment and sustainability and parks, and there's a lot there I could list. And again, I'm not going to take the time to do that, but with education and with, I think, the commitment this board made at the very beginning to focus on the renovation and rehabilitation of the older schools and to replace Linganore, which has already been done during our term, but also Carroll Manor, West Frederick, Walkersville, others like Lincoln that are moving. I think that's a real tremendous accomplishment, something that I'm very proud of having been a part of, and that the whole board, has been supportive of that. And then on the budget, I just want to say that, we've worked very hard to balance the budget and maintain county services, because I think this is a board that, by and large, has appreciated the value of government's role in providing those facilities and services to citizens. That hasn't been easy the last 2.5 years dealing with those cuts, but to have been able to do that carefully and to be able to see even an improvement in the county's bond rating during that time is very significant. Not super brief remarks, but that's typical and characteristic of me as well. And I didn't list all the items under those categories I was tempted to list. But thank you everyone on the staff. Thank you to the public that pays attention. And thank you to the members of this board for your service over these years and for serving on this board for the last 4 years. It's been a privilege.
Do you want to say something, Mike?
Yeah, I guess the two biggest things is we've given the county's destiny and its land use and pretty much its future back to the hands of the voters. But it's up to the voters to decide whether or not they want to keep it. In early of the 3 terms ago, one of our first closed session meetings was acquisition of rights of way for the water line to go from the new design water treatment plant to the Pointer Rocks subdivision that was being built at the Canal Run subdivision. Lo and behold, in the meeting, which I refused to attend, were developers who had negotiated easements, acquisitions from property owners, one of which was a recommendation to pay 1,800% of the value of the property to the owner for the easement. The developer had negotiated this easement, and they were meeting in closed session with the county commissioners advocating that the taxpayers pay that much for the easement. Ironically, 2 of the members of the board voted to do it. 2 others who happened to be sitting here did not. That was the last time, needless to say, that was the last time, to my knowledge, any board has ever met privately with a developer, with the developers advocating that they be the beneficiary of the taxpayer's largesse to buy a piece of property for substantially over the market value of it. Transition, and again, back then we were selling water taps and sewer taps to developers for less than it cost to provide the infrastructure. What little money they did pay for those taps, they got back in this ridiculous Rube Goldberg contraption called tap credits that Wendy's probably the foremost expert on.
Not that the Rube Goldberg thing was your idea.
Yeah, I mean, you pay in the taps and you get it all back when you put. Anyway, today we have realistic charges as best as reasonably can be accommodated for the connection charges, and we've drawn back the growth limit lines because of the current state of affairs with reasonable foreseeable projections. We cannot afford more growth.
I would like to say something on behalf of all the staff and directors in county government. It's been a pleasure working for this board. I'm looking forward to working with Commissioner Young, Commissioner Gray, but working with Kai and Jan and Lenny has been a very rewarding, almost 4 years experience for me and a lot of the directors here. I always call Jan and Lenny the icons of local government because you two bring a lot of experience and skills and knowledge that most people in the political process do not have. And I commend you for that experience. I really learned a lot from this board. You put me in a lot of positions and run a lot of departments, and I thank you for that. I learned a lot. But it's really nice working for the three of you. You all really gave me a lot of opportunities, and I appreciate it. You really believe in local government. That's a rarity of the day in politics, that a group of people as a team really believe in the concept of what local government is and what it means to the taxpayers and to the citizens. You all did that, and I thank you for that. Lenny, there's nobody like Lenny Thompson. I still remember, I've always said this to my wife, I remember the first day I sit in the back of the room, and I really respect you for that. And you said to me, you need to come up front.
That's right.
You're a part of this team. And from that day forward, I was welcomed back into this government. And that personally meant a lot to me. So I want to thank you for that. So again, board, thank you. Good luck.
I looked at the things that we had listed as a board that we wanted to do as part of good government. And because we ran on good government. And I think we've delivered good government. And part of that was open government. And certainly we opened up our term with the ethics ordinance and the lobbying ordinance, and with Kai's suggestion to go live on the web. And I think that has added to the transparency of government. And the fact that people can actually watch our meetings and read the staff reports and materials we have at the same time, I think has been a big improvement. And several of us, the majority of us, came out of some kind of citizen activism. So I really think we have embraced community input and community participation and involvement in government, and I think that's been a good part of good government. We talked about updating the comp plan and strengthening the adequate public facilities ordinance, things that we have done and accomplished. And I have to say our planning staff has done a superb job of getting all that work done. And we have adopted a comprehensive plan that I do think sets out a good blueprint for the future of the county. It does accommodate all the residential growth. It does include 3,000 acres of vacant zoned land for commercial and business development. Some people think we need to zone more land and we'll have more jobs, but we have a lot of vacant land out there right now with water and sewer and actually even roads in it. Ready for development as soon as the economy improves. And we also talked about responsible budgeting, and we have done responsible budgeting. I think acquiring a AAA bond rating has been a big achievement, and it will be a challenge for the next board to work hard to maintain that bond rating. Our budget right now is about $1.5 million larger than it was 5 years ago. There's been a lot of discussion in the campaign that this board had spent $90 million more. And that's absolutely false. We have really kept the budget flat for 5 years and added a number of services. Like we've opened the Thurmont Regional Library, we've opened some parks, we've opened a school, at least one school every year. And so we've really made government very efficient. And I think that's an accomplishment. But, you know, I originally came into office on the school overcrowding issue, and we set a goal to have system-wide capacity at 90%, and we have achieved that. And that has really been an accomplishment of all three boards I've served on, but mostly this board, with some of the decisions we made so that we could build 2 high schools back-to-back. And I think that is really an accomplishment. We've also done a number of significant environmental improvements. The Commission on Sustainability, which was your idea, David, and the Office of Sustainability, they've really brought in significant
Energetic.
funds to the
people.
county and really done a great job. So, you know, overall, we have a lot to be thankful for here in the county. We do have excellent schools. We have a safe community. We have a wonderful quality of life. We have great libraries that are enjoyed by 100,000 people a month, wonderful parks, and I think we leave the county in good shape. And so the challenge will be to keep what we have and to continue the improvement. So I really want to thank this board. I've really enjoyed working with you. It has been a satisfying experience. But most of all, I do want to thank county staff. County staff has done a great job everywhere in every department. And county staff is often not appreciated for the work that they do. But really, the county staff here really focuses on the citizens and are really dedicated to providing whatever service they provide. And so I want to thank them, and I really appreciate all that they do. And I'll certainly be paying attention as the future moves on, and I'll stay friends with all you guys.
You left us a piece of literature that if anybody watching this can get on the web. I'm not sure exactly where, because I think 90% of that effort was done by Jan. But it's the state of the county, and it was 2 months ago. And it touches on the issues that Jan just touched on. And I'm confident with this record. I think it's I don't like to sing our praises too much because that sound like a big mouth. But frankly, we did achieve in our strategic plan success of 95%. It's our report card.
Yeah.
And the one last thing I would like to say is, by having this plan on the books, by having done the things that we've done, the strategic plan for the future, I do believe if you're going to create business in Frederick County, that's the sort of thing you do. We don't snap our fingers and create jobs. We don't give away money and create jobs by depleting the budget by giving away money to tempt people to come here and set up an operation. We do it by making life good in Frederick County, by making life dependable and predictable. The most important thing to any company, especially when they're making a move, if you want them to come here, if you want them to start up here, they want to know how true to the future plans that you have in the books you're going to be. If you start one term tearing it apart, next term putting it together, I wouldn't want to come here and do business because you can't rely on the county's plans. So I think it's crucial that commitment to a long-term plan is on the books and committed to attract business, because creating jobs doesn't happen by 5 commissioners saying, I'm going to have 10 more jobs. Somebody else has got to do it, and they got to believe in living in Frederick County and in doing business in Frederick County. We can certainly improve the processes, and that's always a challenge, and we should do that. But you can't create jobs by snapping your finger. You make this a place that's predictable and desirable.
Yeah. Well, the number one thing people want is a good education. Education is always talked about. Quality of life is always talked about. And the last company that I met with that was interested in coming here also talked about having a county that embraced diversity. That was actually important for them. So I thought that was very interesting.
Only thing we ever did is exactly what we said we're going to do.
We really, that is the truth.
We did exactly what we said.
Okay, anything else?